Fourth, from Edders in the number 9, Craig Schober. Fifth starting spot from Enola in the number 10, Gene Wrightstone. Starting sixth from Mechanicsburg in the 29, Todd Bayshore. Seventh starting spot from York in the 22B, Mark Billett. Starting eighth from Duncannon in the number 27, Carl Graves. And bringing up the rear, ninth starting spot from York Haven in the 1W, Smokey Fry. That's the field. Caution lights are out. We're ready to go with this qualifying heat for the limited late models. Here they come, and the green flag is waving. Mark Kropp and Miles Bird go side by side into turn number 1. Now, Bird assumes the lead down the back straightaway as Craig Schober moves the 9 car into second spot. Down the front they go on lap number 1. Miles Bird holding on to the lead. Now going high on the track. And Craig Schober moves the 9 out in front, down the back as they come around to complete lap number 2. On the move in the 29 is Todd Bayshore as Craig Schober has problems negotiating turn number 3 and drops the 9 back to third spot. Now here comes Bayshore into the lead, down the back. In the 29. Bayshore, the leader now in the 29, a feature winner earlier this season. Miles Bird running second. Mark Billett on the move on the outside in the 22B, and Smokey Fry in the 9 tangle in the middle of the back straightaway. Parts flying everywhere back there. And we have the 9 of Craig Schober and the 1W of Smokey Fry involved here on lap number 3. Both cars stopped along the backstretch wall. So we have a caution flag with 3 laps complete. Okay, the cars of Craig Schober and Smokey Fry have been untangled, and Smokey's in the rear of the field without the whole nose and hood of the car. And we have a green flag anyway with 3 laps in. Todd Bayshore, your leader, stretching that lead down the back. Miles Bird slowing with the 28 car. He was the pole sitter. Looks as though Miles Bird is going to be out of this one. 4 laps complete. Mark Billett on the move in that 22B. Chasing and smoking a little bit there going into turn 3. Chasing Todd Bayshore as they come out for the halfway sign. Todd Bayshore, Mark Billett, Mark Kropp, Gene Wrightstone, Randy Croup, and Smokey Fry in that order. Down the front, Todd Bayshore with about a half a car length lead, and Mark Billett closing in now, right up alongside of him. And we have a new leader as they go into turn 3. The smoking number 22B of Mark Billett. And here comes Bayshore back on the inside. 2 to go next time. Todd Bayshore hasn't given up. And he's hanging close now down the back. Tries to pull up even as they go into turn 3 and out number 4 now. 2 to go. 2 more drives around. Mark Billett out of York, your leader. Pulling away now about 3 car lengths, 4 car lengths down the back. Smoking heavily once again. 1 more lap around for Mark Billett in the 22B. Todd Bayshore in the 29. Mark Kropp in the 77. Gene Wrightstone in the 10. Randy Croup in the 08, and Smokey Fry dropping out in the 1W. Here's the checker flag, your winner. Mark Billett in the 22B out of York. Second, the 29 of Bayshore. Third, the 77 of Kropp. Fourth, the 10 of Wrightstone. And fifth, the 08 of Randy Croup. So once again, your winner in the number 22B out of York, Mark Billett. On the pole from York, the 92 of Dave McClitton. Starting second, the 88 out of Blaine, Craig Fairchalk. Third starting spot from Mechanicsburg, the 75, Tim Liddick. Fourth starting spot, the K3 from Hamburg, Wilmer Weiss. Starting fifth from Mechanicsburg, the 41, Jay Hoover. Sixth from Carlisle, the number 2, Scott Richwine. Starting seventh in the 4 from Wirksville, Ken Ryland. Eighth starting spot from Dover in the 1, Ron Little. And starting ninth from Lancaster in the 01, Bob Kinney. And we have a bad start up here. Several cars entangled. See the 41 of Jay Hoover, the 75 Tim Liddick, the 88 of Craig Fairchalk, and the 4 of Ken Ryland. So it'll be a complete restart with no laps completed. Little problem getting the cars through turns 3 and 4 for the waving green flag. So we're under caution with no laps complete. So we'll make another attempt at getting heat number 2 underway as the cars approach the third turn. Dave McClinton out of York with a 92 brings them out to the flag. Wilmer White from his outside 4th starting spot moved up to 2nd. Now on the outside, Wilmer down the back. And Ron Little in that number 1 all the way up from 8th starting spot. Now running 2nd alongside of Wilmer White. Got Richwine running in 4th. Jay Hoover running 5th. Ken Ryland 6th. Now Little on the inside of McClinton. As Ron Little takes the lead down the front on lap number 2. Wilmer White hanging on for 3rd, now underneath trying to get 2nd spot. Wilmer White moves the K3 into 2nd now as they come out down the front. Dave McClinton holding on to 3rd in the 92. Now Scott Richwine in that number 2 moves by McClinton to take 3rd spot. McClinton holding down 4th. Then it's Jay Hoover. Some smoke trailing out of that 92 as they went into turn 1 on the last lap. We have a caution over here in turn number 3. The 01 of Bob Kinney spun over here. Now the 41 of Jay Hoover and the K3 of Wilmer White also involved over here. So with 4 laps complete, Ron Little the leader, and we're under caution. So Jay Hoover, Wilmer White, and Bob Kinney are in the rear of the field. The 3 cars involved, and the green flag waves once again. 4 laps complete, and here comes Ron Little. Scott Richwine right behind him. Dave McClinton holding on to 3rd spot. And Ken Ryland running 4th in the 4. Halfway on the field. Ron Little, Scott Richwine, Dave McClinton, Ken Ryland, Wilmer White, Tim Liddick, Jay Hoover, and Bob Kinney in that order. Down the front they go. Still a little smoke trailing out of that 92. Not that heavy. Ken Ryland really hangs it out coming out of turn 2. Maintains his position. And Wilmer White looks to the inside with that K3. Wilmer White alongside of Ryland taking that position. Moving into 4th spot. As they come out now, moving Bob McKinney over. 2 laps to go on Ron Little out of Dover, their leader in that blue and white number 1 car down the back. Wilmer White moving alongside of Dave McClinton now, taking 3rd spot. White flag waving this time. McClinton a little out of shape here, straightens it out down the front. Jay Hoover getting pinched in behind them, but everybody moving. 9 laps complete, checker flag waving high in the sky. This time, here comes your winner, Ron Little out of Dover. 2nd, Scott Richwine in the 2. Wilmer White in the K3, Ken Ryland in the 4, Jay Hoover in the 41, Dave McClinton in the 92, and the 75 of Tim Liddick. So once again, your winner out of Dover in the number 1, Ron Little. Limited late models on the pole out of Mechanicsburg, the 51, Howard Werner. Starting second from Schnecksville in the 119, Butch Campion. Third from Jonestown in the 12, Glenn Adams. Starting fourth from Orfield in the 22, Brian Shuey. Starting fifth in the 5 from Camp Hill, Rick Barr. Starting sixth from Orfield, the 21 of Chris Shuey. Seventh from Summerdale, the 117, Jeff King. Eighth from Dover in the F1, Doug Fry. Ninth from Blaine in the 06, Jeff Smith. And 10th from Lebanon, the 91 of Jimmy Bernheisel. And here they come. And we have a green. Glenn Adams jumps out into that lead in the number 12, followed by the 22 of Brian Shuey. And Butch Campion gets out of shape. Rick Barr goes up over the top of him. And the 06 of Jeff Smith, with no place to go, nosed into the guardrail. So 3 cars involved up there, a wheel rolling down the front straightaway. Looks like the center section might have tore right out of that wheel. Found the guardrail and now end up standing up amazingly. So 3 cars involved, and one is already pulled away, Jeff Smith in the 06. So we have a yellow flag again with no laps complete. A little trouble getting the first lap in. It seems like once we get it in, everything goes okay. So now we're under yellow, and a complete restart will be coming up. Once again, the track's been cleared. Howie Werner and Glenn Adams will bring him to the green this time. Here they come. Green's out. Jeff Smith getting pinched against the wall there, running 3 wide, and he's still out there high on the speedway, but now dropping back to the rear of the field. Meanwhile, up front, it's Glenn Adams in the 12 out of Jonestown. Second, Brian Shuey in the 22. Then Chris Shuey in the 21. As Jeff Smith blows against the retaining wall here in the front in the 06. Jeff Smith out of Blaine, the 06. Early season point leader. And a feature winner here earlier in the year. Brings out the yellow with 1 lap complete. And the leader still Glenn Adams in the 12. Single file restart down the front. Here they come. Green's out. Glenn Adams, Brian Shuey, Chris Shuey, Jeff King. Beat the sheet metal flying off a car down here in turn number 1. We still have green right in the middle of the track in the groove. And here comes Glenn Adams to complete lap number 2. Sheet metal moved a little higher on the track this time. Should be out of harm's way now. Doug Fry moving the F1 up into 3rd. Doug Fry aboard the F1 tonight. Moves that car up into 3rd. Chris Shuey dropped back to 4th in the 21. Then it's Jeff King and Jim Bernheisel. 3 laps complete, now 4. Glenn Adams enjoying a lead of about 4 car lengths up front. Adams out of Jonestown. Doug Fry trying to move that number F1 up into 2nd. Having a little problem getting by Brian Shuey in the 22 car. Now Fry going to try the outside. Now ducks back to the inside. Down the backstretch into turn number 3. Shuey a little high. Fry on the low side. Doug Fry moves that F1 up into 2nd spot. Then it's Chris Shuey, Brian Shuey, Chris Shuey, and Bernheisel in that order. Here they come out down the front, completing lap number 7. Bernheisel flying on the high side of the speedway. Now ducks back low. Bernheisel with the 91 up in the 4th spot. Between the Shoeys. Brian Shoey, Chris Shoey. Now Chris moves underneath the Bernheisel. And Bernheisel zigzags through the straightaway trying to get between the two cars driven by the Shoeys. Now Bernheisel looks underneath of Brian Shoey in the 22. Bernheisel moved up into 3rd spot. Meanwhile, up front, the white flag flies on your new leader, Doug Fry in the F1. Glenn Adams 2nd, Bernheisel 3rd, Chris Shoey 4th. Here comes the checker, the winner. Out of Dover, the F1, Doug Fry. Glenn Adams 2nd, Jim Bernheisel 3rd, Chris Shoey 4th, Jeff King 5th, Brian Shoey 6th, and Howie Werner finishes in 7th. And once again, your winner aboard the F1, the 01, Bob Kinney, 7th, the 28 of Miles Bird, 8th, the 88, Craig Fairchalk, 9th, the 06 of Jeff Smith, 10th, the number 9 of Craig Schober, 11th, the 119 of Butch Campion, 12th, the number 5 of Rick Barr, and scheduled to go 13th at 27 of Carl Graves. And here they come. Miles Bird having problems right at the drop to the green, never seemed to get fired. And he's dropped all the way to the back. Up front, it's Smokey Fry, your leader in the 1W. Then it's Brian Shoey in the 22. Dave McGilton in the number 92. And the caution's out for the number 28 of Miles Bird, who we mentioned never seemed to get it hooked up coming out of 4 for the initial green. 1 lap complete. We're ready to go back to green. Here comes Smokey Fry in the 1W. Brian Shoey in the 22. Shoey a little out of shape, but holds on to that spot. Dave McGilton in the 92, running 3rd. Then it's Tim Liddick. Carl Graves on the move in the 27 on the outside of Rick Barr. Craig Schober in the wall over in turn number 3 with the number 9 car. He hit it pretty hard. The front end looks a little out of shape, and he'll need a wrecker to get back to his pit area, I'm sure. 2 laps down, Smokey Fry, your leader, bringing him out of turn number 4. Here they come. Brian Shoey, 2nd. Dave McGilton running 3rd. Tim Liddick, 4th. Carl Graves, 5th. Rick Barr, 6th. Craig Fairchalk, 6th, 7th. And Howie Werner bringing up the rear in the 51. 3 laps complete. Carl Graves on the move on the outside with a 27. Running right up on the cushion. Graves up in the 4th spot. Meanwhile, up front, Smokey Fry with about a 5-car lead over Brian Shoey in the 22. Dave McGilton, Carl Graves, Tim Liddick, Rick Barr. Barr looking underneath of Tim Liddick, but no room this time. We'll have to wait till the next trip around. McGilton holding on to that 3rd spot. Carl Graves up on the cushion, trying to get by on the outside now. Graves down the back. 6 laps complete. Graves now trying to work the outside. Up on that cushion, trying to get that 3rd spot. Craig Fairchalk has moved into 5th spot. Carl Graves now slingshots to the inside and back up to the outside. Trying to get by the 92 of Dave McGilton. Now turn. 2 to go. This time on Smoky Fry, your leader. Brian Shuey second. Carl Graves now has that third spot. Craig Fairchalk moving into fourth. Dave McGilton running in fifth. White flag on Smoky Fry in the 1W. Brian Shuey, the 22. Carl Graves in the 27. Craig Fairchalk in the 88. Dave McGilton in the 92. Rick Barr in the 5. Tim Liddick in the 75. And Howie Werner in the number 51. Taking the win, the number 1W, Smoky Fry. Brian Shuey takes second. Carl Graves takes third. Craig Fairchalk fourth. Dave McGilton fifth. Rick Barr sixth. And Tim Liddick takes seventh. Consolation for the limited late models. For the limited late models on the pole out of Reading, the 77, Mark Kropp. Second from Jonestown in the 12, Glenn Adams. Starting third from Berwick in the 08, Randy Krupp. Fourth in the K3 from Hamburg, Wilmer White. Starting fifth from Mechanicsburg, the 41 of Jay Hoover. Sixth from Enola in the 10, Gene Wrightstone. Seventh from Orfield, the 21, Chris Shuey. Eighth from Carlisle, the 2, Scott Richwine. Ninth from Mechanicsburg, the 29, Todd Bayshore. 10th from Wurtsville in the 4, Ken Ryland. 11th from Summerdale, the 117, Jeff King. 12th from York, the 22B, Mark Billett. 13th from Dover in the F1, Doug Fry. 14th from Dover in the number 1, Ron Little. 15th from Lebanon in the 91, Jimmy Bernheisel. 16th from York Haven in the 1W, Smoky Fry. 17th from Orfield, the 22, Brian Shuey. 18th from Duncannon, the 27 of Carl Graves. 19th from Blaine, the 88, Jeff Smith. 20th from York, the 92, Dave McGilton. And 21st from Camp Hill in the 5, Rick Barr. And we're ready for a green. Feature event for the limited late models, and here they come to the green flag. Mark Kropp brings them to the green and down into turn number 1. Glenn Adams, second in the 12. Randy Krupp in the 08, third. Wilmer White running fourth in the 3. Glenn Adams underneath of Kropp and takes the lead. Over in turn number 4, we have the 22 of Brian Shuey out of Orfield. So with 1 lap in, we have a very quick caution flag here. Brian Shuey in the 22 out of Orfield. Drives away under his own power and will rejoin the field in the rear. And it'll be a single file restart with 1 lap complete. All lined up, ready for the restart. Glenn Adams from Jones bringing them around. Glenn Adams from Jonestown in that number 12. Down they go into turn number 1. Mark Kropp second, Randy Krupp third, Wilmer White fourth, Ken Ryland and Scott Richwine battling for the 5th spot. Richwine has it as they come out of number 4. Scott Richwine, Jay Hoover, Ken Ryland, Chris Shuey down the back. Jay Hoover moving on the inside of Randy Krupp. Richwine on the outside of Krupp. Here they come out down the front. Chris Shuey on the move with a 21. Getting together with Jay Hoover in the 41 down the back. Everybody moving. front it's Glenn Adams, Wilmer White, Randy Group, Mark Knopp running third, Chris Shuey, Jay Hoover, Mark Phillips in the 22B. Here they come out down the front. Mark Rock still running in third. Chris Shuey, Jay Hoover, Mark Phillips. Ken Ryland. Jimmy Bernheisel now making his move on the outside. Bernheisel up behind Jay Hoover. Mark Dillon on the inside of Hoover now, taking that spot. Phillips and Mark Drop now, trying to get that spot. Jay Hoover up on the outside. Hoover on the outside of Crop, taking fourth spot. Up front it's Glenn Adams, Wilmer White running away from the field. And it's Chris Shuey, Jay Hoover, Mark Phillips, Smokey Fry on the outside, and the 1W making some moves now. Fry up in the fifth spot. 9 laps complete. Wilmer White on the outside of Glenn Adams. Wilmer White out of Hamburg, trying to inch ahead of Glenn Adams. And Wilmer White, your new leader, on lap number 10. Halfway on the field. Wilmer White out of Hamburg, your leader. Then it's Glenn Adams. Chris Shuey, Smokey Fry. Smokey Fry moving into third now. Coming up on the outside of Glenn Adams, trying to get second spot. Smokey using the high side of the speedway. 11 complete. Smokey Fry is flying out there in that 1W. Glenn Adams losing the handle, spinning momentarily, but he collects it, drops back about 4 spots. Running a good race or lead early, now drops back. Wilmer White, Smokey Fry, Chris Shuey, Jay Hoover, Jimmy Bernheisel, Smokey Fry up the outside of Wilmer White now. Down into turn number 3 they go. Smokey Fry, your leader, as they come out of turn number 4 on lap number 13. Putting a lap on Tim Liddick in the 75. Smokey Fry now starting to walk away from Wilmer White. White running in second. And it's Chris Shuey, Jim Bernheisel, Jay Hoover, Mark Phillips, Ken Ryland, Glenn Adams, Randy Troop, Ron Little, 15 laps complete, 15 down. Smokey Fry with almost a straightaway lead now. Wilmer White hanging on to second. Jimmy Bernheisel moves into third. Chris Shuey, then Jay Hoover. Mark Phillips, Ken Ryland, Randy Group, Glenn Adams, Ron Little, Jeff King, Carl Graves, in that order. Lead car down the middle of the back straightaway. Starting a lap, lots of traffic now. 2 to go on Smokey Fry. Wilmer White, Jimmy Bernheisel. Lap and a half to go for Smokey Fry. We have a 12 of Glenn Adams spun up here in turn number 3. comes out of Jonestown, early race leader. 18 laps complete. And Glenn Adams brings out the caution with its spin up here in turn number 3. 18 down, green, white checker. And we're under caution with 18 down. Glenn Adams rejoins in the rear of the field, and here they come. Green's out. Smokey Fry, Wilmer White, Jimmy Berneisel, Chris Shuey, Jay Hoover, Ken Ryland, Mark Billett, Ken Ryland. They just changed position. Randy Krupp, Ken Ryland in that order. White flag out for Smokey Fry. One more time around. Wilmer White second. Jimmy Berneisel on the outside of Wilmer White and takes that spot down the back. Smokey Fry, Jimmy Berneisel, checker flag high in the sky this time. Here comes your winner, Smokey Fry. Jimmy Berneisel second. Wilmer White, the fine ride for third. The 21 of Chris Shuey, the 41 of Jay Hoover. The 22B of Mark Billett, the 08 Randy Krupp, the 4 of Ken Ryland, all unofficial back here. This 117 of Jeff King and the 1 of Ron Little. So your winner in the F1, the 1W, Smokey Fry out of York Haven. The Cloverleaf Taverns, Martin Holmes. 9 of Danny Gannett. Second, the 92